All right, everyone, welcome back into another NFL DFS video. My name is Polzin with 9 to 5 Sports. Going to be getting into the top prop bets as well as showdown picks here for the Buffalo versus Detroit game. All right, this should be an interesting one. There's not like a direct lineup path, which makes it a little bit more difficult. And then just Detroit is doing a bunch of weird stuff with their running backs, so that's going to make this slate difficult, okay? And like I said, I will be touching on some prop bets. If you guys enjoyed that coverage, the prop bet coverage, let me know in the comment section below. Haven't touched on it too much. You know, I do think there's an opportunity for me to cover that a little bit more, but that's something you guys got to let me know that you want more of, okay? So without further ado, let's get into the coverage for this video. So right off the bat, I'm just going to start off with the props that I like, okay? I am using the PFF player props just for now. The issue with doing prop coverage is that there's so many going out there. Obviously, you guys know the Sports Battle sponsor below. But there's so many different ones out there that's tough to like give that content to people. And a lot of the prop bets are based on the app, you know, and they don't have like a web browser for me to be able to put out content for you guys. So I think this is a good kind of happy medium for it. So just looking at right now, the two props that I like the most. First one is going to be ASB under 7.5 receptions. Okay. Now don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be a great DFS play, but if we just look at his season total, he hasn't went over 7.5 receptions all too much. We see 1, 2, 3 times. Now it'll be close probably, but he's not projected to get over 7.5 receptions as well. Projected to get about 6. Okay. So yes, game script could dictate the Detroit Lions throwing the football a little bit more, and which could lead to some easy receptions for ASB, but I'm just going to go with the data here. Data says to bet the under there. And the only other prop-based bet that I like is going to be Gabe Davis over 3.5 receptions. Okay, Gabe Davis gets a good matchup. Okay, he's projected to get 4.5 receptions. And if you just look at what he's been able to do kind of the last few games, that is really what's encouraging. 5 and 6 receptions the last 2 games. It seems like he is getting more involved in this offense. And if he is getting more involved, then that is going to be a low reception total. All right, so now getting into the DFS side of it. Starting with the Buffalo Bills, because they are going to be the easiest team to predict on this slate, or, you know, in this 2-game slate here. Josh Allen. Let's start with him. Okay, Josh Allen is a very interesting play because, well, he just didn't run the ball too much last game against Cleveland. Okay, they still won the game, but that was his worst game in a while. Still put up 12.5 DK points. And now he gets a great matchup going against the Detroit Lions, a defense that can get beat in the running game or in the passing game. Josh Allen should be able to go off and have a good game, okay? That should be a thing that happens. I do like the idea of paying up for him. Sure, you could get hurt if he has one bad one-off game, but that shouldn't happen, okay? So I'm going to be playing him in my flex. And then we got Diggs. Diggs, if you were looking at the player props, you saw that he is projected to really just have a great game. They got him set at 6.5 receptions and 89.5 total yards. So what does that tell us? That tells us that, yes, Diggs should be able to go off in this game, which he has been able to do basically every game. Last game was an off game for him, and he was still able to score 14.8 DK points. Okay, he's been over 10 DK points in every game thus far. Obviously, this is going to be a great matchup. I do think we need to pay up for Diggs. The question is, do you want to pay up for him in the captain spot? Because he could easily go off and break the slate. Like if he goes for 20 plus DK points, that's not going to shock anyone. I do want to do that, although that makes the slate difficult. If we do that, we almost have to fade Gabe Davis, which, as you guys know, I just said I like Gabe Davis. Okay, going against Detroit, obviously a great matchup. It's tough not to play him. Okay, but obviously on a showdown site, you got to make some decisions. So I have kind of ended up on, I want to play Gabe Davis or Knox, you know, in a build, okay? If I'm playing Gabe Davis, you might as well put him in the captain spot and hope that he has one of those big games, you know? That's kind of me. If I'm playing Gabe Davis, I'm putting him in the captain spot. If you guys remember the Monday Night Football coverage, I said, you know, George Kittle is an elite play tonight. The thing with it is, it's like either you're playing George Kittle in the captain spot because you know he's going to go off, or you're going to fade him and not play him at all because, you know, that's just kind of how it's went. That's kind of how I feel about Gabe Davis. It's like if you're playing Gabe Davis, you're putting him into the captain spot. Now, not as much of like a gung-ho play because there's other ways that you can beat the Detroit defense. I do think Devin Singletary is still going to be a very solid play, guys. Devin Singletary has been pretty good this whole season. The only difference between now and the beginning of the year is Josh Allen's injury, leading to more goal line rushing attempts for Devin Singletary. It's no surprise he's had 2 and 1 rushing touchdowns since then, and that was actually kind of expected. Okay, so I do kind of think he has a chance to get more receiving yards, but he should be a safe play against Detroit. Okay, he is playing in over 70% of the snaps. He is a player that I do want to go out on my way to play because I think we are going to get, you know, a safe, let's just say 8 DK points, but I also think we're going to get 15 DK points out of him. And then from there, I did mention Dawson Knox, has been a solid productive player. The issue is he's priced up a little bit too much. If we got him $1,000 cheaper, it would be an easy play. At this price point, he is someone that if you end up on him, you kind of shoulder shrug and you're like, I'm okay with that because we know we're going to get right around 8 DK points or so. Okay, so do like him as a play, just tough to fit him in there. Then you got to ask yourself, like, who has the best chance to have a good game from there? Bills D, maybe. McKenzie playing about 40% of the snaps, maybe. Tyler Bass, I don't mind. Going with the kicker, you could easily do that, okay? And especially price point wise, especially on this slate, you might just be forced into playing a kicker, unfortunately. And he'd be the one I would want to go with. From there, not that much value, okay? Shakur, maybe he catches a pass or two. Maybe this game becomes a blowout and he plays a little bit more, maybe. Let's just say you think it is going to be a blowout, then I really don't mind the idea of playing James Cook, who James Cook had himself a good game last week, played more snaps than Nyheim Hines. At the time of the Nyheim Hines trade, I said, that's a strange trade. I'm like, that could actually hurt Isaiah McKenzie more than it does Nyheim Hines. With James Cook playing well and playing more snaps, that could end up being true. But once again, if it's a blowout, maybe you look at James Cook, but still, priced up too much. Now flipping up into the Detroit side of the football, it is kind of easier knowing which players you should want to be on. ASB, yes. Okay. I do think he's going to get under 7.5 receptions, but at the same time could easily get 6 receptions for, let's just say, 60 yards and possibly get a touchdown as well. He should have a nice floor against Buffalo, a poor pass defense and a defense that, they really just deploy a bend but don't break strategy. And so that should void well for ASB. So he is someone that you do want to try to fit into your builds. Obviously, that's going to be difficult to do. Jamal Williams, when is this lucky streak going to end? Okay, sure, he's playing the most snaps, like 40 to, let's just say, a max of 50% of the snaps with DeAndre Swift healthy, and he keeps scoring touchdowns, guys. This is not going to continue to happen. It's just not sustainable. Okay, but he's getting a lot of carries. Okay, it's just a tough play for me. Depending on a touchdown is difficult. Okay, especially at that snap count. Now, if he is like Devin Singletary's playing 70% of the snaps, much more likely that he's going to be involved in the offense and be on the field when there's a goal line rushing touchdown. Now, I know they're bringing in Jamal Williams to do that. I would just rather play Singletary. It's just a tough play. And then you got someone like Justin Jackson, who is kind of priced up, but he is someone that saw a decent amount of snaps, over 30% of the snaps, look good doing it, and he's getting involved in the passing game a little bit. You could roll with him. Value-wise, he might be someone we're forced into playing, unfortunately. Then that leaves us with Swift. What do we do with Swift? We got a touchdown, got some targets. I would say he might be on the field a little bit more if they're down, but he's just not playing enough right now, and he's not going to get the goal line work. They have Jamal Williams for that reason. So the running backs are just difficult. I almost would rather just play Justin Jackson, just given the price point, probably going to play 30% of the snaps. So that is the difficult part of this slate. And then from there, we got to figure out what's going on with DJ Chark. I thought DJ Chark would be much more involved in the offense, and he wasn't. Okay. Played in 20% of the snaps. Okay. He was the receiver number 2 at the start of the season. Looked pretty good. The question is, do they just stick with Khalif Raymond? And if they do, Raymond is probably the best value on the slate. It is a question. Okay. If we get reports come game time, if you're watching the game prior to lineup lock, they kind of allude to that sometimes where, don't be surprised to see DJ Chark have a good game. That kind of means that in the meetings, pregame meetings with the coaches and players, they kind of get a good feel for who's going to do well so they can build up their storyline. So if you hear some chatter around DJ Chark, then to play him over Khalif Raymond. But as it sits right now, it is going to be Khalif Raymond. Obviously, for the same reasons that you like ASB, you'll like Khalif Raymond just at a worse level. Okay, gain a decent amount of receptions, especially given the price point. Could be something that gets you 70 receiving yards, especially in a game that could be a blowout. So yes, he is someone I'm trying to go out of my way to play. And then from there, Brock Wright, not a terrible play. He's playing about 70% of the snaps. If we I think we might have to play him, which is unfortunate. Okay. Got 2 targets, 4 DK points last game, scored a touchdown the game before. You're not going to get a lot out of him as a play. It's just not going to happen. Okay. But maybe they score a touchdown. And by they, I mean one of the tight ends, because we've seen the tight ends now score a touchdown in the last 3 games on average. It's difficult, but he is like the only logical value that we have on the slate just due to playing time. So let's try to make this build, because it's unfortunate. Like it's tough to fit Diggs in there. Obviously can't fit Jared Goff in there then. So let's do it. I'm going to go Raymond in the captain spot. Let's see if we can fit. No, we can't fit Diggs in there then. I do think we want to play Diggs. So like, where do we go from there? And that's the biggest part about this slate. That's the difficult part about this slate. Like if we could have fit Brock Wright there, I would have loved that. That would have been great. Okay. Can't. And, maybe Tom Kennedy. I don't like it. Like him as a play would be if this game's a blowout. Played in 60% of the snaps the last 2 weeks without DJ Chark. Then last week with DJ Chark back, only played 20% of the snaps. So I expect, DJ Chark to just take all those snaps. But in a blowout, you might see him on the field more. It's unfortunate. Like I said, I wish we could just put Brock Wright in there. That is the issue with this slate in a nutshell. Okay. You're going to be forced to play some bad plays. You're going to be forced to play a bad lineup, which, as you guys know, I always like to try to put out the best lineup possible. And that's just not the route that we can go this week. And this is an ugly build. Maybe gets lucky with a touchdown. Doubt it. I don't like that. We can see this is not going to be a game in which I really want to attack now. Okay. Let's try to do one with Diggs in the captain spot, because, I think he has the best chance to break the slate, and then we'll begin out of here. I kind of been ending up on this on Swift. I don't like that. I would want to rebuild. Let's go Justin Jackson, see what we can do there. A little bit left over. Now we get to Bills D. I don't mind that. You get James Cook. I don't mind that. Tyler Bass. I don't mind that. So, I could see myself putting this build in like 4 times and then editing it out, putting in Bills D one time, maybe James Cook one time, and then maybe Tyler Bass one time. I do think Tyler Bass is going to be a good play. I mean, not terrible. Let's see. You're kind of forced into Raymond, I think. Unless, let's see. Let's do one other thing here. Let's go real ugly with it. Tyler Bass, captain. The kicker captain. That's okay. Okay, probably rather go Gabe Davis. All right, you know what? Let's do one more thing here. The ideas are flowing. It's an okay build. That's the thing, guys. Just not going to have a perfect lineup approach on this slate. All right, but that's all I have for you guys for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give me a like and subscribe. That helps me be able to put out more content for you guys. All right, let's have a good game. We'll be coming out with more coverage for Thanksgiving. Okay, game by game breakdown. So once again, be on the lookout for that. All right, thanks for watching, guys, and as always, let's keep cashing.